Hello, good people. Welcome to my channel. My name is SHIYELIA in Korea. Today I'm going to talk about some of the real problems which are faced by students here in South Korea. And this video is almost like a continuation of the video that I did 2 days ago, which is called Problems Faced by Foreigners in Korea. And this video is for culture exchange purpose only, and people and places are fictional. I don't intend to say people's names, so I will share all stories for motivation and culture exchange. So if you know anyone who's going to study abroad, especially in Asia or anywhere where they are offered a partial scholarship, or even if it's a full scholarship, please listen and share this information to them, because this is the truth of life of a student abroad. So let me start this video by saying I'll put timestamps later, just after the end of this video. So I'll put timestamps of all the points I will talk about, and there are so many points. So anyway, without wasting time, the number one problem that is faced by students when they move to Korea is they fail to settle in Korea. When I say they fail to settle in Korea, I'm referring to them having problems with the Korean language, having problems with the food, having problems with the environment. Some people actually feel sick, like start having some kind of mental illness, depression, anxiety, all those, because they just came into a new environment. So I was once a student, so I know what I'm talking about. I was once a student, so I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking of this failing to settle kind of thing. I remember very well when we first came to Korea that we were all we were all filled with anxiety that if we fail Korean language, we will be deported to our countries. So my motivation to learning Korean was like, I don't want to be deported. So I was over anxious and even depressed many times, trying to balance school and even getting to know the new environment. It was really hectic, like it was very, very hectic, I can say. And the food for me, it was okay because the food, I'm a food lover, but my other friends from other African countries really were having big problems with food, because Korean food is not really similar to African food in any way. Like there are few dishes where they put salt like African way. Very few dishes I can say that they put salt or any seasoning similar to African dishes. So you can imagine what we went through as students. You can imagine what we went through as students. So I remember other people used to, if there are side dishes with lots of kimchi or spices, they would just take a bowl of water and wash the spices off and start eating, like after washing off the spices in a bowl of water. So that was really funny, but somehow that was like one of the survival tactics other students were using. And for me, I can say I was kind of on the right go, because I love Korean food so well. I am a food lover, so Korean food wasn't really difficult. It was it wasn't really difficult eating Korean food in my case, but my fellow students, some of them really were almost like starving. We were given food, but they failed to eat the food because, can I say the culture shock kind of, it was almost like a culture shock of some sort, because our expectation was like, oh, the meals, even though it's different meal, but maybe it's eatable. But I have realized that food is the most difficult thing for foreigner. If you're in a new land, like everything will look just so different. And with all the conspiracy theories people have to say, oh, in Asia people eat snakes, in Asia people eat frogs, in Asia people eat dogs, all those conspiracy theories, when we have them in mind and you start being served a meal in a land where you were hearing such stories. In Africa, I know we used to talk of these stories of saying in Asia people eat snakes, they eat frogs, they eat dogs, those kind of stories. So you can imagine how much stress we had when we first came, to even think like, oh, am I eating the right food? Like, among ourselves as students, we were asking each other, are we eating the right food? Like, we would be like questioning each other, is it real pork, or maybe there's something inside? Like, everyone always had those questions, like, of just not trusting the food, like maybe something is inside, especially when it comes to soups where you don't know what kind of piece of meat is inside. Though they write the menu, but maybe everything is in their language. Then because of language barrier, we were always in a stress mode to even wonder, what are we eating? So some people ended up explaining very well that when it comes to other special foods, like I know it's being banned, or they're trying to ban dog meat, but there are some places where they serve dog meat, but it's not in a everyday meal that they serve dog meat. They say dog meat is for summer kind of dishes. So, and also there are special restaurants where it's served. So when we heard that, we were like, whew, at least. Even also when it comes to other kind of funny dishes, like what we hear people saying that Asians eat snakes, Asian eat frogs. I remember some people really just turn into, some people really into vegetarians because they can't handle it. They can't handle the idea of hearing other students saying, maybe this is fish meat, this is maybe dog meat. Yeah, those ones I can even go in a day to say the kind of stories people would be talking about when it comes for food. So food wise, students really struggled to eat. Even if you see that this is chicken, but the way it's cooked, sometimes it's just boiled, no tomatoes, no spices, nothing. It's only ginger and garlic and some other herbs which are not even giving color. The chicken will be just looking pale white, the soup will just pale white, and you just have to dip in salt or some sauce. So it's not easy to be in Asia. That one I can say plainly, it's not easy to be in Asia. So this is the first 9 minutes. Let me greet people. Hello, Cool Gamer. Thank you so much for coming. Hello, Grateful Thoughts. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Please remember to thumbs up me. Hello, Media 263 2863. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you for showing support. I appreciate you. Good vibes. Even here, it's good vibes. Knock, 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 everyone. But I'm in the background. Thank you so much, sister. You are the best. I appreciate your support fully. So that being said about the food failing to settle because of the food, the other common problem that we faced as students, or that is commonly faced by students, is emotional problems. Like, when you leave Africa, you leave not Africa alone, wherever the student will come from, you leave your family away. And some of the students come when they are just after marriage, and they leave their husbands and children. There's this thing about about students who come to Korea when they are married. They just so much stress. Like, I have seen other people's relationship. I was even once in a relationship. I know the time difference can be so crazy that the time you have to wake up, your better half is sleeping. So communication wise, really, it's like stress. And if you have someone who is not really understanding, you may end up fighting, because there are times when they think they want to talk to you, but then you want to it's your time to go to school because it's now work or school time. So it's one of those problems, really. It's one of those problems that we faced as students in Korea, like emotional problems, like feeling detachment from family, especially those who leave their children and husband, or even leaving a boyfriend. It's so difficult to concentrate on your studies when you have someone who wants to, especially demanding people. Like, I once dated a control freak, and I know what I'm talking about when it comes to emotional detachment or emotional pain. Like, yeah, it's really hard, because the person will be like, they want you all the time, like, because of their, I don't know, some people are just control freaks. In the end, you feel like as a student, you are just like always emotionally drained. Yes, that's the word, emotionally drained. Because one, when it's your sleeping time in Korea, your family, it's daytime, they want to talk to you, the children want to keep up with you, your boyfriend want to keep up with you, your husband want to keep up with you, your wife wants to keep up with you. So it's really stress after stress, like stress after stress. Like, you are trying to even balance school here in Korea. After all these things of balancing family life, you are also struggling with school. So if you come to Korea, or if you have been to Korea, I'm sure this of balancing family issues and your studies, I'm sure everyone knows how painful it is. Even other foreigners who even come to work, who are not students, they also have similar kind of problems. So yeah, those kind of problems, if it's a boyfriend, you can just get rid of it. But if it's family, definitely you just have to try and find ways to balance, because there is no way. And another problem is school can be difficult in Korea. Like, I'll give an example of failing to settle because Korean language is difficult. But when you come to Korean language school, or when students come to Korean language school, we, in most cases, students are like blank. They don't know Korean at all. The Korean that they will know is from the teacher, when the teacher is teaching. So bit by bit, they will be like knowing Korean. Bit by bit, they will be knowing Korean. So throughout the process, students will be just like filled with stress, lots of anxiety, depression, you name it. Like, I have noticed that mental health illness really is the most like prevalent problem among students in Korea, especially in the language school. I was one person who used to stay in so much anxiety, because I was like, if I fail Korean language, I'll be deported. If I fail Korean language, I'll be deported. So whatever I did, it was all around Korean language, and I never had peace. Like, Now I'm laughing because it was a phase that that passed. But if you are coming to Korea to study under the similar conditions that I went through, definitely you will understand what I'm trying to talk about here. But above all, if you try to balance your schoolwork, definitely it will work out well. And the other problem is in Korea is a developed country, and if you are coming from a developing country, hey, this one of lifestyle, it will really grip you by your neck because Korea is so expensive. Like maintaining the lifestyle, like just coping up with the lifestyle the way Koreans live it is just so difficult because everything is super expensive. Like we are talking of we are talking of maybe buying a banana for two bananas for almost like $3. Like we are talking of buying an avocado for almost $3. We are talking of buying uh, rice for maybe for a 2 kg. We are talking of buying it more than $10. Like food is expensive in Korea, housing is expensive in Korea, and above all, you as a foreigner, you already have a family back home, you want to send money. Sending money back home is also expensive, especially now that the rate is low. Oh my god, the rate is very bad these days. Like if you calculate your salary and just compare with the time that we came in Korea, like back in 2011 when things were really normal, we can actually see that we are working for nothing. Like it's just not easy. And even also to consider if it's a student, like there's no way they can just abruptly increase students' allowance. Even salaries, they are not increased easily. So just being a foreigner is just not so easy. Like it's not easy at all. So another big problem faced by students who come on partial scholarship is the problem of failing to balance school and life. And sometimes students end up also working illegally. And let me explain bit by bit. Students fail to balance school and life. If you come on a partial scholarship is a scholarship where you are supported maybe tuition only, and then for dormitory and living expenses you see for yourself, or you are paid for dormitory and tuition, but the living expenses is for you see for yourself. So in that scenario where you have a partial scholarship, whichever way, maybe you pay some percent of tuition, living expenses whatsoever, it's not easy. Like you just need money. If you are on a partial scholarship, you need an extra source of income which is stable. I'm not referring to the money that we ask from the parents or the cousins or whoever. I'm talking of real money that you just are supposed to get if you're on a partial scholarship. So sometimes students look for one or two jobs, and working in Korea, you can work several jobs at once. Actually, you can only work after 6 months when your Korean language is at some certain level. So sometimes reaching the criteria for working can be even a big problem, that some people will ignore the criteria or requirements and then they choose to work illegally. And when you work illegally and you are caught, then it's another one. You may lose scholarship, or maybe ask it to pay a very heavy fine that you don't have. So in the end, you just resort to say, oh, let me just quit the studies, like something like that. So, and another big problem faced by students is maybe accident at work or falling ill. I have seen some people who have done who had some kind of accidents at work, or maybe just a natural accident where they require to do surgeries, or where they just need extra medical treatment. And I remember that even if you fall sick, there's just an extra amount of money that you need to pay for the hospital. Even if you have a medical insurance, when it comes to hospital bills in Korea, they are very high. They are very high, especially if you have several hospital visits, like consultation to the doctor, the medication, the whatsoever. You pay for everything. You pay for everything. So if you are a student and you don't have an insurance, and then you have a real problem of maybe falling sick, hey, it will be just another one, because it's either you will look for those volunteer kind of doctors who can assist people for a discount or for free, or look for free institutions where they just help foreigners, because they know there are some people who have really big problems when it comes to getting medical attention. So they somehow offer routine checkups or some kind of treatment freely for foreigners who have certain problems. So I can say that will be just only the advantage if you can access those free medical services. But all I know, students really struggle to balance school, because if anyone falls sick, I remember one of my friends, they had some kind of problem and they had to do some operation. And operation, I can't even say one friend, many friends had operation in Korea. And having a surgery or operation in Korea, we are talking of big money, thousands of dollars. We are talking of thousands of dollars. And with the condition that the person is a student, already it's just something else. As a student, balancing your own living expenses and balancing the hospital bills and everything is just not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy. So my advice, if someone is going to come to Korea or is already in Korea or is intending to study abroad on a partial scholarship, always try to make sure that you are registered to an insurance, medical insurance, so that if you have any emergent need for medical attention, you can get treated cheaply, because medical bills in Korea, if you get admitted in a hospital, and sleep there in, let's say, the emergency room, if it's a private hospital, depending on your medication, you pay several $1,000s to just be in an emergency room for 24 hours. You pay thousands of dollars. Like, this happened several times when I escorted some students to the hospital for some kind of emergency treatment. And I was like, wow. At that time, those people didn't have insurance, because those days insurance was not mandatory. So they were just like, I don't fall sick. But one day someone had some kind of emergency case. So those days people were debating with their health, saying, oh, me, I don't fall sick, so I don't want to waste my money paying for insurance because I'm not going to fall sick. But hey, who are you to say you're not going to fall sick? Things happen and people fell sick, go to hospital, 24 hours, they were asking more than $3,000. And the only advantage that we had was it was a hospital for the school. So they gave 50% discount, because she was also student at the same school. It was a school university hospital. That was the only advantage. And even it was a private university. So imagine the bills on a private institution. So my greatest advice also, considering the medications, just register the national health insurance as early as you can, because that certificate of medical health insurance will see you through. Even if you catch a cold or whatsoever sickness, it will see you through. You get medication easily, cheaper treatments, you get lots of discounts. So yeah, other problem that will close this video, I don't want it to be too long. Other big problem is students may fail to get good grades, and then they will be asked to, they will lose the scholarship because they failed to reach the grades. Like in Korea, they're so particular about the grades. They are so particular about the grades. If you don't meet the grades, if they say GPA should be above 3.5 or GPA should be above 4, you should make sure that your GPA is above 4. Once you lose the GPA, when your GPA is less than the required one, you are in it for it. Sometimes they give you grace period to say, oh, maybe if it's the first semester, maybe they say GPA 3.5 and above, and then the following semester it's now GPA 4 point something. Always try your best to keep the grades, because what happens also when it comes to grades, students lose scholarships. I have seen several students lose scholarship. They finish one semester, go into second semester, lose scholarship. Sometimes the semester that they come, they lose the scholarship also because of their low grades. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Students lose scholarships sometimes, not because they don't study, but I think it's just like when someone comes, they try to settle down, they start studying at the same time, and when the time is almost like end of semester, they are feeling like, oh, I've now settled in Korea. That's when they write exams. In the end, they fail the exam, and then the scholarship is taken away. In some cases, they don't care. They don't give you even a second chance. They just say you have lost the scholarship, and losing a scholarship is one of the most painful thing ever. I have comforted many students when I came in Korea. I think I've comforted more than let me not say number. People will be alarmed, like, really? Yeah, people lose scholarships. It's not like they really lose it willingly, but the grades are difficult to get. Yeah, that's why I always say to people, if you come to Korea, come to study master's degree and PhD, because most of the people who failed and lost scholarships were undergraduate students, and all of them that I know were from Africa. The reason why is Korean language. And even in other cases, they were not even using Korean language, but passing in Korea is totally different from passing the way we pass in Africa. Like, I don't know how the Korean professors think, or I can't blame the professors, but I just think it's the way of studying that really makes students lose scholarship. So I think I have done enough for this video. These days I just want to talk in 30 minutes about a particular topic and then stop, and then on Friday again I will see if I can continue with the same topic. But all I can say is students lose scholarships in Korea, and I've seen students who lost scholarships. It will not be easy, because you lose scholarship and then they will ask you, can you pay for yourself? Some people say, I can pay, and then they start asking money from their parents. Their parents start selling properties, they start selling this and that, and then in the end, student even fail to keep good grades, and then they end up quitting. in the end, the parents lose resources and the student bring nothing back home. And it's not easy being a student. In some cases, you may lose scholarship, and they say you can pay for yourself. Sometimes they will just say you are automatically out. If you just fail the course, you are automatically out. You have to reapply again. Yeah, something like that. Because they say if you fail the major, then you are not capable of finishing the studies. So it's not easy to be a student in Korea. So I think I've done enough in this video. So yes, if you lose scholarship, if they were offering you dormitory already, also losing the scholarship means they are not paying tuition. All the benefits of the scholarship are stripped off, so you are left one man standing. Then you need to look for other means of survival until you leave Korea, or if you can pay for yourself. I know some students at another university, if you are not in a very busy city, not in the capital, somehow you can actually work and finance yourself if the university is government institution. But if the university is private institution, say that you transfer to a government university, and then maybe it may be affordable for you to pay compared to private institution. So I would listen back and see what points I didn't talk about, but that's what all I wanted to say about the real problems faced by students in Korea. So thank you, good people, for watching. Hello, Sister Rachel, Faith with Rachel. Hi, Lee Lama, it's been a while. How are you? I missed you. Hi, Rich. How are you? Hi, Sister Elizabeth. And major shout out to you, all good people. Major shout out to you, Grateful Thoughts. Major shout out to you, Media 263, 2863. And major shout out to you, Cool Gamer. So, good people, thank you so much for your love and your support. Dangandaro, yeah, I did a video 2 days ago, but it was a 30 minutes video. I'm thinking of just sticking to 30 minutes video Monday and Wednesday, and then on Friday we can stay for more than 1 hour, depending on the engagement, but minimum time I plan to go live is just 1 hour on Friday. And thank you so much, good people. My watch time is good, but it's not yet like updated to show that I've crossed over to 4K, but I'm left with less than 50 hours. I don't know why they delay to update the watch time, because for me, my purpose is I want to pass the watch time and then start making shorter videos. But if I don't pass the watch time, it means I keep losing hours, and I don't like that, because it was the same thing that made me be in the same position I am now, of keeping losing hours when I'm almost there. Like now, I'm just left with 31 hours. So I hope by Friday, I really hope by Friday it will be over 4K, because I can't stand the chance of keeping on losing hours. It's not good at all. So anyway, good people, thank you so much for watching my channel. I will now try to write the timestamps, and if you haven't watched some of my videos that I have done about life in Korea, please check them, and I'm sure you will learn one or two. And if you have any questions about moving to Korea whatsoever, and you want to ask me something that I can respond to you privately, you can message me on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, then we can talk from there. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good Wednesday. For those who are still at daytime, for us in Korea, it's already 9:51 p.m. and we sleep late. So I'm gonna start preparing for my sleep as I'm waiting for my timestamps, like I will do my timestamps in the sleeping mode. So good people, thank you for watching. Check you in my next video. Ciao, ciao, good people.